Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Commerce Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Scott from jeffreyscottmedia.com, and here is a word from our sponsor. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Lavoie Soaps. Lavoie is a luxury alternative to generic and harsh store-bought soap. Typical soap has additives, toxic chemicals, and detergents in them that don't typically nourish the skin. Lavoie soaps are all natural and feature essential oil blends for the best smelling fragrances. It has the smoothest and creamiest lather, and it just nourishes your skin, making your bath or shower experience feel like an at-home spa. Upgrade your soap collection at lavoiesoaps.com and use the promo code CreativeCommerce for free shipping on your order. No minimum amount to spend. It applies to all your orders automatically at checkout. You could just get one bar and get free shipping with it. It's that easy to get a great taste of luxury, and your skin will appreciate it. Now let's get into the episode. On this episode, I'm going to focus on young people and what you could do now to be successful in the future by using the time that you have now and readily available. By just taking care of yourself now and avoiding stupid decisions and situations that everyone else typically does at this age, you'll be ahead of 99% of most people. But first, let's get into the gear update. On this gear update, I wanted to feature Comica's new CVM VM30 wireless shotgun microphone. The CVM VM30 is the industry's first shotgun microphone with an integrated wireless module, which allows it to be used alone or with a receiver as a complete wireless audio transmission system. A lot of words, but basically it's very good for just general video shooting, live streaming even, just recording, podcasting, interviews, just the basic general good microphone with pretty much everything that you would want to have. The cool thing is that it can be paired automatically to your camera, and it has a wireless range of up to 100 meters in open areas and up to 20 meters in difficult, cluttered, obstructed environments. The wired and the wireless modules can be used at the same time. The CVM VM30 supports a high 48 kilohertz 24-bit streaming rate, and it has a gain control knob on it. I don't think I've seen any gain control or any volume metering on like a microphone if it was like attached to the camera. I think that's a cool feature that I haven't seen before. It just seems like it has many physical features on this that allow you to play with it and meter as you go. It's supposed to have plug and play, easy to use, and it has a built-in rechargeable lithium battery that can last up to 50 hours in wired mode and 7 hours in wireless mode. And you can also charge it while it's in use, and the microphone has a screen display on it that shows the status, the gain level, battery power, everything, and more in it. This is a crazy microphone that I have not seen before, and it has its own display on it, so that's pretty interesting to check out, especially if you like seeing everything operating while it's happening. This seems like an amazing microphone. I'm not sure how it would hold up to other mic leaders like Rode, Shure, and others, but especially at the price point of $189, I think that's a pretty nice price point to be competitive with those other brands. My personal favorite shotgun microphone is the Rode NTG4 Plus. I think there's a Rode NTG5. I could be wrong, but it's my favorite, and it was a great investment that is going to last for years and years and years. And if you're just trying to get a good starting microphone, I recommend getting this one on Amazon. It's called the Takstar shotgun microphone or something like that. Just search up TAK Star shotgun microphone, and it should be about like $25. And there are a lot of review videos on YouTube comparing like Rode microphones to that Amazon microphone, and it's really good. I used it for a long time. So if you want a microphone to start messing with, try that one. So now let's get into the inspiration insight part of the show, where I challenge you to go create something today. I want to challenge you to try double exposure photography. I think that'd be pretty cool to merge two unrelated or related images into one composition, one interesting blend. You can combine different landscapes or portraits together, have some sort of message or story along with it. With double exposure photography, you're able to convey symbolism and visual metaphors either with things that relate to each other or things that don't relate to each other at all. If you combine different elements that represent different concepts or ideas, you can evoke powerful emotions or convey a story for your viewers to interpret in their own unique way. If you're interested in trying double exposure photography, just set your camera to multiple exposure mode if you have it. If it doesn't, you could just manually overlay images together in Photoshop or whatever you use. When you're editing, try to use different opacity layers or different opacity filters. You could use the blending modes like screen, lighten, or overlay to achieve that. All it does is just plays with the light in different ways and plays with the different opacity you can do with different layers. Even just changing the opacity itself and then other like brightness, contrast levels would really help with trying to either blend two things together or have them contrast. If you want to share your content and have a chance to be featured on the next episode, use hashtag #InspirationInsight and tag me in your post, and I'll put it in the next podcast. All right, so now I want to get into the main topic of taking risks while you're young. I think it's very important to do that at a young age because you don't have much to worry about. You don't have much to depend on while you're young. I mean, you could depend on your family, but there's not a risk of losing your full-time job or losing something important. I mean, you probably don't have kids or anything at a very young age, so there's no risk to that as well with your time. So you have a lot of opportunity to explore different ventures and explore different paths of life and explore what is passionate for you and what could potentially make money for you. If you're someone in your early 20s like me, you may feel lost or not included in a lot of things, especially if you're in college. There's many different types of people doing many different types of things, most of the time a lot of stupid things. And it just seems like the loud and obnoxious are the ones who are the majority that kind of lead that generation or that age for what it is pictured as. Being young comes with a lot of advantages compared to someone who is older or they are just starting at 30 or 40. Why not start when you're 20, 21, 22, you know? It's just the majority of people my age or our age that wasted away. So you don't really see much of people our age starting now, taking risks or being smart. Whether it's partying, developing alcoholism at a young age, underage even most of the time, smoking, using substances, any bad habits, they're taking risks by doing that. But obviously, it should be obviously that they're focusing in the wrong areas. This is your time to constantly learn and build the foundation of who you want to be in the future. You want to act and portray yourself as the person that you want to be when you're 30, 40, 50, whatever. Do that now. Build that solid foundation so when you reach that age or you reach those opportunities when you're older, it can happen quicker and it can happen more seamlessly now that you've built better habits for yourself now. I heard a phrase somewhere, I don't know where, probably just scrolling around, but it was learn in your 20s and earn in your 30s. So I think that's kind of what I was saying earlier. By building the foundation now, taking risks, learning different things, seeing what you're good at, especially seeing what you're good at, right? And how that could create wealth for you, and learning different wealth creation methods to earn in your 30s or later on in life. I think it's true and will hold up for people who develop the discipline to instill positive habits in their lives at an early age. There's many different roadblocks that could come into play, especially if you're 20, even if you're 19, 18, just going to college. There's many different habits that may influence you or tempt you. And I think if you're able to not see those habits and not let those tempt you, not follow the crowd, then you won't become the crowd. There's a reason why there are less millionaires than non-millionaires. If you just try to do the same thing that everybody else is trying to do, then you'll just be another normal person. You're not going to take the risks or the extra steps to become an abnormal person. Being an abnormal person is good in some ways and bad in some ways. Of course, you don't want to be a criminal. That's an abnormal psychopath. But being an abnormal person by taking on good habits and doing something that's outside of the norm of the crowd, that could lead to bigger and better things than just following what's normal. Being young comes with unique advantages. We have fresh perspectives, boundless energy, and an inherent fearlessness that can propel us forward, especially in teenagers. They feel like that life can't kill them or nothing can get you, I guess you just kind of feel like a know-it-all. And it goes back to what I've said in a previous episode. You don't know what you don't know. You're constantly learning. Of course, I'm 21, and I, of course, don't have any experience being 30, learning in my 20s and going to hopefully earn in my 30s. Of course, I don't have experience then, but I just know building myself now will hopefully and probably build myself to be even better and create a better me in the future. I don't think it's unrealistic to think that way, because if you go to the gym every day, or if you go to the gym on a set schedule and that good habit is set, then you're probably going to lose weight. You're probably going to build muscle. It's not like I'm being unrealistic by thinking that way. Of course, taking risks doesn't guarantee immediate success. I mean, that was what I was kind of saying. I'm only 21, so of course, I don't know what I'm talking about for 30-year-olds, but it's just bound to not happen that way with getting immediate success. Just adopting a growth mindset and learning from mistakes, learning now. I'm 21, I'm going to have a lot more learning to do in my life, of course. We, or I in this case, can evolve and refine my approach to different things and ultimately achieve my goals. It's all a part of the journey towards success by trying, failing, learning, failing again, learning, failing, trying again, flip-flop, whatever. Just don't be stupid. Don't be stupid as a college kid, especially. I've honestly given up on my college social life. I'm almost done with college, and I don't think I've made one friend in college. And it's just people have different ideas of what to do in their lives at that point in their lives. There's some points where people are very behind in their mental age, I think, when they're, say, 20, they're acting like they're 16. Through my college experience, just everyone has seemed to be the same with the same destructive habits, and I personally am very picky with who I allow to be in my life, because I know if I have people in my circle who have bad habits, they'll tear me down. I heard a saying or phrase from somewhere is, the 5 people that you surround yourself with, you'll probably be the 6th. So if you hang out with 5 college losers who all they do is drink after class or something, you'll probably be the 6th. But if you try to look for mentors, or you hang out with people in a club trying to build a skill, say it's like a photography club or something, then you'll probably be the 6th best photographer there. It's okay to be picky. That just means you have high standards for yourself and high self-worth. If there's one thing I've learned about kids in college, is the expression of how they describe themselves. This is one of my pet peeves when it comes to describing people in college, or describing people at a young age like where I'm at. Just think about it. When we refer to people who go to college, we say college kids. But whenever the same college kids want to be independent, make life-changing choices, or have an opinion about something that's very important, either to them or politics or whatever, or if it has any influence in their job, then they want to be an adult, quote unquote. You can't just change sides. Are you an irresponsible partying college kid? That would fit that description. Or do you want to be taken seriously all the time and be the adult that you claim to be? If you want to be the responsible adult, then you have to take on the responsibilities that comes with it. Most college kids, quote unquote, aren't ready to grow up that fast. I don't know, it's just a pet peeve that I've noticed, especially in my classes, because I'm experiencing it now. Like, I'm in college and finishing it up. I hear people talking about different issues they have at their job, or different issues with family or whatever. And then the friend is usually like, oh, you're an adult, you're like 22. But then they'll like describe themselves as a college kid, or in other conversations, it's always, I'm a college kid or whatever. It's always contradictory, and I think it's weird. Anyway, this comes to a theory of mine for why they herd freshmen into little dorms. I just don't think they can control themselves. They're not ready. This is a different discussion for something else, but I don't think 18-year-olds, or even before that during high school, should have to figure out what their life plan is going to be apply to college and then worry about what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. I think that's kind of weird and scary in a way, and that's how it works right now. I had no idea what I was going to do until I almost graduated. I kind of got bit by the business bug and was like, I want to do that and make my passion of creating a business. I feel like sort of kind of the reason why some schools mandate that the freshmen live on campus in dorms is because maybe it's just the culture of where the university is at. Because if it's like a party school, then I think they might require freshmen to live on campus because one, the kids can't control themselves, and two, they probably don't want them trashing the nice apartments where actual hardworking families live. Anyway, this long rant just comes from my personal experience and many, many, many negative experiences that I've had with many kinds of different people at college. College isn't for everybody. I know this isn't an episode about college, but this is where a lot of young adults kind of foster, and where most of the bad habits that can be life-destructing down the road form, especially with alcoholism, drug abuse. Many of those different things can foster in college since it's just so easily acceptable, and if it's a college party town, most of the police don't even care. But again, this is my only experiences that I've had so far with young adults or quote-unquote college kids. So this is just a rant, personal experience, I guess, of young adulthood. If you're my age or younger or even older, I hope this gave you a positive perspective on how things can be different from what they seem to always be. You don't have to follow what everyone else does. Like I said earlier, if you want to follow what everybody else does and be a normal person, eventually down the line, you will turn out to be a normal person with a normal job that makes barely anything, but that's normal pay. You won't be abnormal, outstanding. You don't have to destroy yourself for the sake of living a little in your college years. I think it's just destructive, and it's very easy to pick up a bad habit. The overall message from this, outside of the rant, is to build positive habits, respect yourself, become the best version of yourself that you can be, take risks that are for the benefit of your education and your skills, and eventually provide for others whenever you become in the position to spread this same positive message. That's why taking risks now, good risks, as we've discussed, builds that foundation and lets you try, fail, learn from the mistake, try again, fail, learn, and it just keeps going like that. Eventually you'll get to a point where you'll try, it'll work out, and you can learn from that because you tried and failed so many times when you were 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Then when you're 30 or older, you've already tried it so many times for 10 years at this point. I think you could kind of figure out what you're doing after 10 years of good work or attempting to try to be good at something. Let's get out of the tough and serious and get into the content spotlight. Quite a transition from that, but if you have any questions about that, just let me know. On this content spotlight, I want to spotlight a creator I found on Instagram named Remy Leonard. Remy is a video content creator that makes a lot of short form content and creates a lot of reels giving tips on everything video and photo. His images always look very cinematic. I love how he lights and colors everything. Everything looks like he put a lot of thought into it by staging what his room looks like or wherever he's shooting, how he makes himself look with the lighting. You can tell a lot of effort goes into it to teach knowledge to people who are trying to learn photo and video. He just clearly puts a lot of effort into it. Even though they're short and it's just intended to just be scrolled past, I should be respected. Everything is very quick, to the point, visual appealing, how a short or a reel, something like short form content should be to grab attention. It definitely caught my eye, and I appreciate the dedication to the quality. Again, I respect that, and I think he did a good job at catching my eye with it. Since it is short form content, it's very difficult to get someone's attention. The tips and tricks he provides are very valuable. There are a few things I learned from his short reels on Instagram. So if you are a pro, you could just refresh by watching some stuff, or you could even learn some new stuff. There's always something to learn. Again, said it earlier, you don't know what you don't know. You can find him on Instagram at Remy, Remy _Leonard, Leonard. You can find him there on Instagram. He's got all of his reels and shorts on there. You can just scroll through his whole profile, and I'm sure you'll learn something. So now let's get into Business 101, the part of the show where I share a business tip or two. In the main topic, I talked a lot about self-improvement, mindfulness, and how to avoid bad habits, especially as someone as a young person. But what do you do next? If you're avoiding all that, what do you do in the meantime? You want to build your skills, and while you're building your skills, you want to create a portfolio to show for it. So how do you have a good portfolio, and what do you actually put on it? I would select a clean and user-friendly design, just choosing a clean and professional website template that highlights your work without distracting elements or anything like that. Minimalism. I love minimalism. Go for something that's easy to navigate and showcases all of your work in a visually pleasing way. We are visual artists, so we want to show that on the website. If you've got a website that looks like it's out of the 90s, then you're probably not a good content creator. I personally use Weebly, but there's probably other, of course, web builders out there like Squarespace, Wix, things like that to get you started. I love drag and drop builders. I don't code. I don't know HTML or anything like that. I took like a web design course and forgot everything. But yeah, Weebly is very easy to set up and link to a personal domain. So if you don't want to pay for their pro plan or whatever, you just go on GoDaddy, buy a domain for like $1 a year, I think is how low it is nowadays, and just link it to that website that you've built. For showcasing your best work, I would choose a variety of projects that demonstrate your versatility and expertise. Sure, you can categorize yourself down into one niche, which is good for trying to reach out for one particular type of client, but I kind of like to market myself as that I can do it all. If I have work that shows things from different industries and shows things that I can do many different things with many different skills in different industries, then I have a larger net to fish for more clients from all these different industry types. Quality is key, of course. You're wanting to display the best of your ability, so make sure your images and videos are high resolution and properly optimized for both web and mobile viewing. I have such a hard time with Weebly for my mobile view of how things should look. Maybe that's just Weebly, but make sure you see both. Have your actual phone looking at your website too. There are many times where I'm editing on Weebly and it looks one way on the desktop editor, looks a different way in a browser, and it looks a different way on my phone. So compare, contrast, make sure it looks optimized for everything. For every piece of work I have it linked to a subpage that has one piece of work only, as well as engaging and a concise description that provides context. You can highlight your creative approach, what the client was looking for, how you made it, kind of put some sales copy into that too. So how you would actually get to that subpage is that I've got like a master page of where you could just click videos, and it has all my videos. And if you click on that thumbnail, that image that links to a subpage, it'll show you that video bigger. You can play that one video, and then I'm able to just add text at the bottom with a longer description for that individual video. And if I want to link that video to a client or a potential client, I could just take that link from my website and send it to that client rather than just sending a YouTube link or a Vimeo link or something like that. Kind of looks better to have your individual content uploaded and hosted on your own website. Looks a bit more professional, and it's kind of a little flex that I feel from me because I'm hosting my own videos under my own domain. Even by having a description of how you made it, what your client's goals was, any results that your clients experienced, it shows potential clients and they can understand your thought process of creating the video and or photo, and the value that you bring to each project, along with any results that the client that you worked for in the past may have had. I would also try to integrate client testimonials into your portfolio and homepage to build trust and credibility. I think this is very, very important. Testimonials just provide the social proof and demonstrate your ability to deliver excellent results. Having people talk and sell for you and have that last a lifetime on your website quoted is very raw and genuine, and people connect to people. So by having a different face to a review rather than you just trying to sell, having them vouch for you is very important. If you want to get a testimonial, just ask a satisfied client or a friend or whatever you worked for. Ask them for feedback and permission to feature it on your website. I think I mentioned this in another episode, but you can provide sentence starters to help them along. By providing sentence starters, it allows you to do two things. One, it shows them that you care for their time and you value their time, that they may value themselves, by helping them brainstorm in advance what they could say. But especially number two is it kind of allows you to write the testimonial for them with words and phrases that you would want to say yourself. So you kind of already write out what you want them to say about you, and most of the time they will use that. I sent about 5 or 6 sentence starters to a couple that I did a wedding for, and they pretty much used a couple of them and wrote it out how I thought they would write it out, and I was happy with it. I was happy with that testimonial. I mean, of course, it's still raw and genuine in their experiences, of course, and how they felt about working with me, but it kind of let me, I don't want to say manipulate because that sounds bad, but it kind of let me pre-write or predetermine how it was going to be said. Make sure to highlight your services and your contact information. You need to clearly put how people can contact you, whether linking your social media in your footers or adding a contact form or your email address or a phone number. I don't put my phone number on my website because I got a lot of spam calls for a good week, and then I decided to take off the phone number. There's just so many data miners that just scrape websites for anything they can get their hands on and just try to get you. It's annoying. I think I said this in a previous episode, but clearly communicating the services that you offer either within a package or what is detailed in the work, like how long you will be there, what are the deliverables, what are any extra add-ons or fees or optional things they could choose to the package. Making sure your prices are listed well. I think it's great to have your prices there first so they can see if you're within your budget and that you can quickly get that client signed on and booked. Like I said about the contact form, just make it extremely easy for them to connect with you. If they can't get to you or if it's hard to get to you, they'll just move on. I've tried to work with other vendors or types, and once I figure out that it's too hard to reach them, especially with Gen Z, we don't really want to make a call. So if I can't email you, I'm not going to work with you. Just make sure you keep your portfolio up to date as well. Just regularly adding new projects, even creative stuff that you make. Whatever is recent shows your skills at that time. Even with my project descriptions that I mentioned earlier, when I make a subpage, I put the date and the year, like the month and the year. So then not only can I see when that was made and can compare my skills from then to now, but a client can see, oh, this was made in like September of 2021. It's 2023 now. It's probably way better now. Showcasing your latest and best work just demonstrates your growth and keeps your portfolio fresh and engaging. I think that's about it for this episode. A lot of college talk in this episode because that's my only experience with young adults, but I'm sure that will grow more after I graduate, and I'll be sure to share my experiences then when I'm 22, 23, and so on. But yeah, I hope you can get some value out of my experiences there, especially with taking risks. You don't even have to be in college taking risks. If you're young and not even in college, college isn't for everybody. I would even start taking risks now. It's better to start today than tomorrow, because come tomorrow, you're going to say the same thing that you're going to do tomorrow, and it'll just never happen. And I guess my last piece of advice is to be very aware of who is in your network, who is in your social circle. You want people that will create better habits with you, or you will grow with them, rather than tear you down and create bad habits. But that is it for this episode. Thank you for watching or listening wherever you are. If you are on Spotify, please leave a review on this podcast and follow me. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. More episodes every week on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Central Time. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at jeffrey.scott_. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next week.